Denims enjoyers in here. You guys have definitely seen it, but I'm hoping some of you guys haven't seen it so you can see it, because it really explains a lot of the motivations. Oh, there's so many people who haven't seen it. Yeah.
But on the
I think it puts into context a lot of the stuff that's happening right now. Because you have to understand, these people don't stand for anything. Everything is just a tool to get what they want. Ethan Klein doesn't care about this. Ethan Klein is mad that people are being mean to him, so he feels like he needs to retaliate, in this case against Hassan. He feels he needs to prove that Hassan is actually a worse person than him, and that Hassan is actually the huge anti-Semite, and you guys are siding with the wrong person. And everything he does is towards that goal. There are no principles. There is nothing that is beneath him. Every strategy is a viable strategy. If that means you have to lie, then lie. If that means you have to clip chimp, then clip chimp. If it means you have to be cynical, then be cynical. If it means you want a bad faith, then bad faith. The goal is getting what you want. The means are whatever will achieve that goal. Whereas, unfortunately, people on the left still have to have like some level of principles. But I think this is a really good video on that.
When I kiss him, I'll be kissing you. So I'll kiss him morning and night. That'll show him.
Say, for the sake of argument, you're a Democratic president finishing out your last year in office. There's not a lot you're expected to do as a lame duck except endorse a Democrat for the upcoming election, but then early in the year, something unexpected happens. A Supreme Court justice dies suddenly in his sleep. Vacancies in the Supreme Court are infrequent as it's a lifetime appointment, so death and the occasional resignation are the only causes of an empty seat. And when it happens, it's the president's job to get the seat filled. So you set about the task of picking a successor, probably the last major decision you will make as president, when the Republican Senate tells you, yeah, we're not going to confirm anyone you nominate. And you say, well, if you think you've got the votes, you can reject my nominee and I'll pick someone else. And they say, oh no, we're not going to vote against your nominee. We're not going to hold a vote. What are you talking about? I haven't even nominated someone yet. We're not going to convene a vote on anyone you nominate. But that's your job. I make a nomination, the Senate holds a vote, and democracy decides who sits on the bench. Well, that's not what we're going to do. You're a lame duck. The next president will decide who sits on the Supreme Court. That's not how this works. That's not how we've ever done things. Certainly not when your party's had a lame duck in office. Well, it's what we're going to do. And you say, that's not what the Constitution says. And they say, the Constitution does not explicitly say we can't. Your wife has a saying for when Republicans act up. They go low, we go high. So in considering your current predicament, you try to think of what taking the high road might look like.
So just to be clear in this context, really quickly, we're at 149. This aspect?
What we're going to do. And you say, that's not what
the Constitution says. That would be the equivalent of like us in the clip with the tier list saying, but that's not what we meant, nor what we thought when we put Sabra hummus as a category. We were talking about the hummus and we were talking about the hummus being bad. Look at all of this evidence to suggest that.
What the Constitution says, and they say, the Constitution does not explicitly say we can't.
And the equivalent here is, well, you didn't explicitly write hummus, so you could have still been talking about Jews. The goal is winning at any means or by any means necessary, even if you lie and twist people's words and clip chimp and ignore real anti-Semitism.
Oh, we go high. So in considering your current predicament, you try to think of what taking the high road might look like. The Republicans have always accused you of being too far left, so after some deliberation, you select a middle-of-the-road, utterly uncontroversial judge, the kind of candidate a functioning Senate should have no trouble confirming. You make a display of embracing the spirit of compromise, in the hopes they'll change their tune, or at the very least be shamed into convening a vote rather than admitting this had nothing to do with the timing or the nominee and was just about refusing to collaborate with a liberal. In response, the Republicans announced that not only will they still not convene a vote, some say that should a Democrat win the election, and they don't even know who the candidate is yet, they will hold the seat vacant for however long it takes to get a Republican in the White House. You didn't call their bluff. They are all too happy to admit that this is absolutely about dicking over liberals and guaranteeing as many conservatives as possible in the Supreme Court. There is no official policy for what to do if one party simply refuses to do its job. But there is a legal argument that if the Senate refuses to vote on your nominee, they are, in effect, giving you permission to appoint a judge without their approval, link in the down there part. This is technically a little extra-constitutional, but it is the law in many similar scenarios, and certainly if they're going to break the rules, you're within your rights to bend them. But they go low, we go high. How can you criticize them for going outside the Constitution if you're going to do it yourself? So, being the grown-up, you grit your teeth and do nothing. Seemingly there's nothing to do but publicly shame them, keeping a running tally of how many days your nomination has sat on senators' desks without a vote. You can play this as keeping your integrity, the Democrats seizing the moral high ground. But in response, the Republicans seize the Supreme Court. Their guy wins the election, you finish out your term, and Republicans will put one of their own on the bench. And just before you leave office, and the new guy is inaugurated, and your nomination expires after 293 days without a vote, nearly 3 times the previous record, a Republican senator predicts that, under the new administration, the Democrats, the minority party in the House, Senate, and now Supreme Court, will be the biggest obstructionists history has ever seen. Think of the position this puts Democratic senators into. They have been preemptively denigrated for the exact behaviors Republicans have relied on for the last 8 years. After 2 terms of misuse, every means of obstructing an unfit executive branch, from filibustering bills to shutting down the government rather than approve a budget proposal, has just been defined as going low. Worse, in the event of a Supreme Court appointment being literally stolen by the opposing party, it might be defensible to not convene a vote on whomever that party nominates, except that's exactly the tactic Democrats have spent 10 months condemning. If everything that might restore democratic norms is tainted by the Republicans who violated those norms in the first place, then the only honorable move left is compliance. Give Republicans whatever they want, confirm their judge as quickly and smoothly as possible, treat the situation like it's fair, because that's what they should.
The rest of it is just talking more about politics, but basically that's the same idea here. That's the same idea here. Like, they don't actually care about these issues. Here's like, this is a perfect example. Ethan Klein retweeted this drama alert tweet, Keemstar's drama alert. This person rightfully clocks it, says, "It's so funny Ethan is sharing a Keemstar. Is sharing Keemstar now, a person that Ethan Klein has called a sexist, anti-Semitic, and a pedo. Telling on himself so hard." There's another really good alt-right playbook video, this one. I know it's 18 minutes, but I want to forward to the section where they talk about, like, where is it? I think this one is actually more accurate. One second. Actually, yeah, it's like in the first 5 minutes.
Say, for the sake of argument, you're online blogging about a black journalist's commentary on marketing trends in video games, movies, and comic books. And you're saying how the vitriol in response to her fairly benign opinions reveals the deep-seated racism and misogyny in a number of fan communities, most especially
This is literally straight up the PTSD comment.
Especially those that lean right. When a right-leaning commenter pops in to say, or maybe they just actually disagree with her about marketing trends. For Christ's sake, there's no mystery here. People aren't speaking in coded language. They are telling you what they believe. She had a bad opinion. Why do you have to make it bigger than that? Why can't you ever take people at their word? You pause and ponder this for a moment. Heck with it. You're in a discoursing mood. Let's do this. Mr. Conservative. In order for me to take you at your words would have to show some consistency. Let me just lightning round a few questions about the reactionary
This video is very good to highlight why all of it is concern trolling, dishonest bullshit. And they do not have consistency because they don't care about the positions. They don't care about making anti-Semitic jokes because Ethan Klein has made anti-Semitic jokes. They don't care about people being anti-Semitic because they're happy to retweet Keemstar when it benefits them.
Positions on marketing trends.
Yang, thank you so much for the
Do you
prime.
believe that having the option
And you should call them out for it. And you should rightfully target the arguments that are dog shit and be like, nice try, idiot. Nice try, pal. We're not so fucking stupid that we can fall for such obvious cynical bait.
to romance
Discharge, thank you for the tier 1.
same-sex characters in an RPG turns the game into queer propaganda? Or do you believe that killing strippers in an action game can't be sexist because no one's making you do it? Do you believe that the pervasiveness of sexualized young women in pop culture is just there because it sells and that's capitalism and we all need to deal with it? Or do you believe that a franchise has an obligation to cater to its core audience even if diversifying beyond that audience is more profitable?
This is very, this was during like the Gamergate era stuff, but now that Gamergate 2 is on its way, this is still so useful. This video is still so useful and such good commentary on what exactly is happening right now. Like, you have to remember during the initial Gamergate, there was a lot of criticizing video games because video games are art and they are subject to criticism like any other form of art or media. But these people get mad, they see gay people in their game, and it's, hey, how dare you have an option for gay people, or most recently, top surgery scars. I can't play a game that has the ability to have top surgery scars. That's disgusting. I don't want to play a character like that. How could you make me do that? Or is it actually not about that at all? Because when people bring up sexual violence against strippers, you're like, well, you don't actually have to technically do that. The game can't be sexist because it's just an option. So just don't do it if you don't like it. Or in this other example, the Star Wars stuff, hey, a lot of the female characters in video games are overly sexualized. Yeah, well, sex sells, so grow up with it. Profits are all that matter under capitalism. Oh, okay, so let's make our video games more diverse for more profit. No, you're making it woke, which is cheating. And it's the same thing here also with the stuff with Ethan Klein. If you care so much about anti-Semitism, why are you aligning yourself with people that you literally called anti-Semitic? If you think it's not okay to joke about things like anti-Semitism, then why are there instances here where you're joking about anti-Semitism? What channel is this again? This is Innuendo Studios, but if you want to find this video series, it's called the Alt-Right Playbook. Not that I'm calling Ethan Klein alt-right, to be very clear. I'm saying that this strategy can be used by anyone. Most famously, when this video came out, it was talking about the alt-right during Gamergate.
Even if diversifying beyond that audience is more profitable. Do you think words are inherently harmless and only oversensitive snowflakes would care about racialized language? Or do you think it's racist if someone calls you mayonnaise boy? And as long as I've got your ear, are you the party that believes in the right to keep and bear arms because you're distrustful of all authority and what if we need to overthrow the government someday? Or do you believe that cops are civil servants and we should trust their account of events whenever they shoot a black man for looking like he might have a gun? Does optional content reveal a game's ideology, or doesn't it? Is capitalism a defense for decisions you don't agree with, or isn't it? Is language harmful, or not? Do you hate authority, or love cops and the troops? Okay, but ease off. Add some nuance.
It's a fire video. I love this video. This video is like, if you take away anything from this stream, it's this video. I think it's a very good breakdown of like, the type of concern trolling that happens very frequently on the internet.
Now, I know the right is not a monolith, and maybe these arguments are contradictory because they're coming from different people. We'll call them Engelbert and Charlemagne. Maybe Engelbert's the one who thinks any institution funded by tax money is socialist and therefore bad, and Charlemagne's the one who says we should dump even more tax money into the military and thinking otherwise is un-American. But here's the thing. Y'all have very fundamentally different beliefs, and you're so passionate about them that you're entering search terms into Twitter to find people you don't even follow and aggressively disagree with them. And yet you're
Ethan Klein. This is Ethan Klein.
You're always yelling at me and never yelling at each other. What's that about? And I can't say how often it happens, but I know if I let Engelbert
This is the equivalent of like talking about Fresh and Fit getting unbanned on Twitch because it is useful to your narrative that Twitch is allowing anti-Semitism. And here, this all feeds into my attacks of Frogan, and then conveniently not talking about the fact that Fresh and Fit got, was it Fresh and Fit or Sneeko, got unbanned on YouTube recently. You don't actually care about these things that you're using as talking points. You only care about their ability to serve your purpose. In this instance, getting Frogan and Hassan banned. You don't actually care about these things. You've never cared about these things. You're pretending to care about them.
Go on long enough, he sometimes makes a Charlemagne argument, and vice versa.
Which, like, to be clear, I also think they should be banned. But I don't bring up the fact that they should be banned to contrast it with something else. I can just say these people should be banned.
And I see you getting ready to say the left does the same thing, but don't change the subject. That's an extremely false equivalence, but more importantly, it doesn't answer my question. What do you actually believe? And why are you so capable of respecting disagreement between each other, yet so incapable of respecting me? Or, for that matter, a black woman.
Did you guys see that they straight up just called Subnautica woke because it had black main characters in it? Even though the original, or like the Subnautica prior to that, also had black characters in it? What the hell? Oh my god! Dude! What? I did not see this. They said that it was woke because there's black main characters in Subnautica. I'll try and find it. Isn't Subnautica a first person POV? Yeah, but what if you can see their hands? Did you think about that? I bet you didn't think about that. I'm grinding my teeth so hard right now. Oh, hi, Axie. Look at this fucking joke. Dude, look at this fucking clown. Here's your Subnautica 2, modern audience approved. What are you doing underwater, Miles Morales? Don't you have a city to save? Me when I'm racist. Me when I'm just racist, dude. Oh, it's all racism. Oh, God. I remember when they fired their sound designer for making an I identify as a helicopter joke. For reals. Yeah, they fired him because he was probably a fucking idiot. He was probably annoying as shit. And everyone's like, dude, I fucking hate this guy. He's so fucking annoying. He's not even funny. I don't even give a shit, dude. And then, like, someone rightfully calling them out and saying anti-woke grifters constantly complain about tourist gamers, and yet they constantly prove themselves to be the actual tourists. These people don't play games. They just want to farm you for money. Diverse characters are nothing new to Subnautica. And I guess these are the Subnautica... not Subnautica 1. From my understanding, there are 3 Subnautica games. But the first one doesn't exist technically. It's like it's like fake. That's what I was told. Yeah, 1, below 0, and 2. This is the third one, the one that's coming out. I haven't played these games, so I've heard they're really good though, so I kind of want to play them. Let me see if I can find the... Where is it? Here it is. Subnautica was released, early access, December 2014. And then fully released everywhere 2018. The Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series were released May 2021. It received generally positive reviews from critics, sold over 5 million units. A spin-off, Subnautica Below Zero, which was originally meant to be downloadable content for the base game, was released May 2021. A direct sequel, Subnautica 2, is planned to release in early access sometime 2025. So there's 3 games, but it's more like 1, 1.5, and 2. More than it is 1, 2, and 3. Anyways, in the, I believe, 1.5, it's either the 1 or the 1.5, there are non-white characters. They're just fake fans, and they want to be mad, and they want to grift, and they want everyone to believe them when they're real gamers. You can tell I'm a real gamer because I'm divorced. Because my bitch wife took all the fucking shit that I own and took my kids. Anyways, going back to this, making games woke because there's one person in it that's not white.
See, I don't take you at your word because I cannot form a coherent worldview out of the things you say. So forgive me if when you tell me what you believe, I don't think you're being candid with me. It kinda seems like you're playing games, and I'm the opposing...
Also, sorry, yeah, these guys worship TF2, but that's, as Kino, but that's one of the most diverse games I can think of, yeah. Dude, TF2 is great.
Team, and anyone who's against me is your ally. And you're not really taking a position, but claiming to believe in whatever would need to be true in order to score points against me. Like we're in that one episode.
A lot of the people that you see, just so you know, they don't actually believe that any of us were being anti-Semitic or dog whistling by using Sabra hummus. They don't believe that. They're using it as a way to get people they don't like banned. Some people believe it, but most people don't believe it. It is a means to justify the ends. Why should Hassan be banned? Because he's a terrorist sympathizer.
Episode of Seinfeld.
Who invaded Spain in the 8th century?
That's a joke. The Moors.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry, it's the Moops. The correct answer is the Moops.
That's not Moops, you jerk. It's Moors. It's a misprint.
I'm sorry, the card says Moops.
This is borrowed observation.
Where we all know it's the Moors. But technically, the sheet of paper says this. So, technically, you said something anti-Semitic because you put these people in this group when you were referring specifically to the hummus, which you make frequent, what's the term? References to how bad Sabra hummus is. Ooh, so sorry, because Sabra also translates to Jew from Israel.
Observation number 1, link in the down there part. Whew, it feels good calling people hypocrites. Person says B when earlier they said A, and you point out the contradiction. You don't take a position on A or B, and you still win. I see why Republicans like this so much. But that's the kind of point scoring we're here to deconstruct, so let's get analytical. There's a certain beat you at your own gaminess to the card says Moops maneuver. Safe spaces are bullshit, but if you get one, I get one too. There's no such thing as systemic oppression, but if there were, I'd be oppressed. It's dismissing the rhetoric of social justice while also trying to use it against you. Claiming the card says moops does not so much mean I believe the people who invaded Spain in the 8th century were literally called the moops, but rather, you can't prove I don't believe it. Not a statement of sincere belief, simply moving a piece across the board. All in the game, yo. If they could be so nakedly honest with you and themselves to answer, what do you actually believe, truthfully, one suspects the answer would be, what difference does it make? We're right either way. This has come to be known as postmodern conservatism, a fact I find hilarious, because in the discourse, postmodernism is a dog whistle for everything the right hates about the left. It also means Jews. Postmodern conservatism is the thinking that, at least for the purpose of argument, the truth of who invaded Spain is immaterial. You have your facts, I have alternative facts. What is true? Who's to say? Regardless of what you actually believe, what you believe serving no rhetorical purpose, you are at least arguing from the position that material truth does not exist. Truth is a democracy. Whoever wins the argument decides who invaded Spain. It would be reductive to blame this pattern of thought on the internet, but its recent proliferation isn't really extricable from the rise of Chan culture. This is borrowed observation number 2, link in the down there part. 4chan didn't cause this way of thinking, but sites like 4chan reveal it in its most concentrated form. The 2 most common properties of a Chan board will be anonymity and lack of moderation, which means, among other things, that you can say whatever you want with no systemic or social repercussions. People may disagree with you, but it carries no weight. You won't be banned, you won't have your comments deleted, and because there's no way to know whether any 2 posts are made by the same person, you won't even get a reputation as the person with the bad opinion. The effect this has on the community is that there is no expectation in any given moment that the person on the other end of a conversation isn't messing with you. You can't know whether they mean what they say or are only arguing as though they mean what they say. And entire debates may just be a single person stirring the pot. Such a community will naturally attract
That's actually a very civil 4chan thread.
people who enjoy argument for its own sake and will naturally trend towards the most extreme version of any opinion. In short, this is the free marketplace of ideas. No code of ethics.
Dude, I fucking love this video. Please go subscribe to this channel or like this video, subscribe to it, etc. I think !watching should pull it up. It's just a very good video that breaks down the difference between good faith actors and bad faith actors. It's the entire alt-right playbook series is really good, but the core factor or like the core takeaway and why I'm showing it in the first place is you have to understand that for these people, for the people stirring the pot, for the Tectones, for the Keemstars, for the Ethan Kleins, they don't care about any of these things. Ethan Klein is not personally offended that we have a Sabra hummus group. He doesn't give a fuck. There's clips of him calling Hasidic Jews dirty. He doesn't care about this. He cares about the fact that he feels like people are disliking him for shit that he said that isn't bad enough to dislike. He's upset that other people are holding him accountable for things that he has said. So instead of being held accountable, speaking to his audience, speaking to his community, and owning the fuck up, it's much easier to push the blame onto other people and to claim that actually there's nothing that you've done that's wrong, and instead, this has to be everybody else's fault. There's like a lot more in this clip that's really good that basically just talks about how this works and how this strategy works. I'm going to play one more section of it, and then I wanted to show a timestamp from Sunstream that I think also really summarizes it.
He might be right and you wrong. He'll just pick another one. What matters is the game continues. The thing is, Bob, it's not that they're lying, it's that they just don't care. I'll say that again for the cheap seats. When they make these kinds of arguments, they legitimately do not care whether the words coming out of their mouths are true.
This is the most important takeaway. Not a single person right now that is spreading that tier list gives a single fuck if we're actually talking about Jews or if we're talking about hummus. None of them care. Not a single one. Same thing with the PTSD clip. Not a single one of the people that is spreading that clip gives a shit. Okay? They are in for the love of the game. They're in to spread as much bullshit as they can because they want to win no matter what. That's what they care about. No one has ever gotten this offended about hummus. In any universe where you did this in a normal setting, if you were talking to your coworkers and your coworkers were ragging on Sabra hummus and rating it the lowest on a tier list at your job, if you tried to say, I think this is anti-Semitic, they explained why they were actually not dog whistling anything, and then you continued to insist, everyone would think that you're crazy. You have no evidence to prove any of the claims you're making. None. In fact, when provided with counter evidence, like the fact that there are 3 people in the evil Jew category that are not Jewish, in fact, one of them is a fucking Nazi, you disregard that information because it is inconvenient. You have to be bad faith. You have to be cynical. You have to clip chimp because you have to win. And winning is all that matters. To people like Ethan Klein, it's all that matters. Denim and Mike are in the category? Yeah. Look, guys, a totally normal, a totally normal chatter. If 2 is not released, it's just 2 games. Why is it so hard for you? Me when I'm normal. Anyways, let's see what this normal guy had to say about this. How did that, quote, why no Zionist here joke make sense if you didn't dog whistle? If we were dog whistling that the Sabra hummus tier was for the evil Jew Zionists, why would we need another category for the same thing? That doesn't even make any sense. I would have said put him in the Zionist category, and then they would have put him in the Sabra category. But that's not what happened. Because the Sabra category was about hummus, which is why I suggested there should be another category for people who love the state of Israel and think the state of Israel is based in its bombings. But try again next time. Try using a few more brain cells next time, okay? I just wanted to show this clip, or like this section from this video, the card says moops, before showing this, because I think this video also is like, or sorry, this clip from Sunstream is really good. It's just a really good summary of like what is happening right now and why engaging with a lot of the people right now is a waste of time, because these people, again, they don't actually believe in these things.